Imagine a Star Wars sequel trilogy where Han Solo never died at the hands of his son, where Luke Skywalker wasn't some grumpy hermit on an island, and where the legacy characters actually got the send-off they deserved. Well, John Boyega, Finn himself, just told fans exactly how he would have done it. And honestly, he might have just written the trilogy we all wish we had gotten. What's up, Headless Horde? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into John Boyega's bold comments on how he would have written the Star Wars sequels. We'll take a look at his vision, what went wrong in the Disney trilogy, and I'll share my own thoughts on why Rey's story completely missed the mark, why Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi split the fan base, and why Disney should have stayed true to the Skywalker Saga. This one is about to get spicy. So John Boyega, who played Finn in the sequels, hasn't always held back when it comes to his thoughts on Star Wars. In a recent Pop First interview, and again at Florida SuperCon 2025, he dropped some absolute truth bombs. He basically rewrote the entire sequel trilogy on the spot. And his vision, well, it sounds like the one the fans were begging for. Boyega said, quote, "First of all, we're not getting rid of Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, all these people. We're not doing that. The first thing we're going to do is fulfill their story, fulfill their legacy. We're going to make a good moment of handing on the baton." So right off the bat, Boyega hits the core of what went wrong. The sequel trilogy decided that passing the baton meant literally killing off every original trilogy character. Han stabbed by his son, Luke fades into the Force after projecting himself across the galaxy, Leia written off after Carrie Fisher's tragic passing. Instead of legacy, it felt like a purge. Boyega's version? Keep them alive, finish their arcs properly, and then introduce the next generation. Boyega went even harder when he talked about Luke Skywalker. He said Luke Skywalker wouldn't be disappearing on a rock. Hell no. Standing there and he's like a projector, I would want to give those characters way more. And honestly, he's right. Fans waited over 30 years to see Luke again. And what do we get? A man bitter at the Force, hiding away, tossing his lightsaber over his shoulder, and only stepping up as a hologram. Sure, some defend it as subversive storytelling, but was it really true to the Luke Skywalker we knew? The farm boy who faced Darth Vader out of compassion, who believed his father could be redeemed, suddenly decides the Jedi should end? Boyega nails the frustration many of us felt. Luke should have been a mentor, not a recluse. Boyega also talked about how the new characters were written. He said, quote, "Our new characters will not be overpowered. They won't just grab stuff and know what to do with it. No, you've got to struggle like every other character in this franchise." Well, this is clearly about Rey and Finn. Rey was criticized as a Mary Sue, going from scavenger to Jedi prodigy almost overnight. Meanwhile, Finn teased being Force sensitive in The Force Awakens, but that storyline was dropped completely. Remember that epic moment when Finn picked up Luke's lightsaber and fought Kylo Ren? That was the setup for something bigger. Instead, Disney sidelined him into comic relief. Boyega sees what we all see. The sequels had potential, but the execution was extremely sloppy. Boyega didn't stop there. He also said he looked to the Old Republic stories and even The Force Unleashed. He wanted to expand Star Wars while respecting the lore. And that is one thing that Disney and Lucasfilm has not done. And this is the thing. Lucasfilm has decades of incredible Legends content. They didn't need to start from scratch. They had rich material with characters like Revan, Malak, Bastila Shan, and epic wars that could have inspired entire trilogies. Even Starkiller, as overpowered as he was, had a story that fans loved. Boyega gets it. Star Wars thrives when it embraces its mythic roots, not when it tries to reinvent them. And this brings us to the core problem. Disney, under Kathleen Kennedy's leadership, had the pieces. They had Luke, Han, and Leia. They had Rey, Finn, and Poe. They had the opportunity to build on a foundation, but instead, they killed the legacy characters, disrespected the Skywalker lineage, and turned Rey's story into a complete and utter mess. I'll say it, Rey should have been Luke's daughter, period. It might have been obvious, but sometimes the obvious choice is the right one. This was the Skywalker Saga, and the natural continuation was the next Skywalker Rising. Instead, we got Rey Palpatine, a decision that was made probably 6 months before filming. Then Rey Skywalker by name only. It felt cheap, unearned, and completely disconnected from what came before. Now let's talk about The Last Jedi, because this is the film that split the fandom. Some love it, some hate it, but almost everyone agrees it did not portray the original trilogy characters correctly. Rian Johnson wanted to subvert expectations, but in doing so, he stripped away the core of Luke's character. Fans weren't looking for subversion, they were looking for continuation, for respect. Boyega's rewrite directly calls that out. So what exactly is John Boyega's version of the sequels? It actually respects the past while setting up the future. Keep the legacy characters alive long enough to pass the torch. Don't overpower the new heroes. Let them struggle and grow like Luke and Anakin did. And when you expand Star Wars, well, use the lore that already exists instead of throwing it out completely. Personally, I completely agree with John. Han, Luke, and Leia should have never been separated, and they should never have even been killed the way that they were. Star Wars is built on myth, family, and legacy. Disney forgot that. Instead of honoring the Skywalker Saga, they tried to reinvent it. And Rey, she should have been Luke's daughter. That would have tied everything together and made sense. Instead, her story became one of the biggest wasted opportunities in modern cinema history. At the end of the day, Star Wars has the stories. It has the characters. It has the lore to keep it going forever. But only if the people telling these stories respect what came before and respect what George Lucas built for all of us. That is why John Boyega's comments resonate so deeply with me. He's saying what fans have been saying for years. Now, what do you think? If John Boyega would have gotten his wish, would the sequels have been saved? Should Rey have been Luke's daughter? And how should the legacy characters have been handled? Drop your thoughts in the comment section down below. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to keep those heads on, and I'll see you guys in the next video.